video, I'm going to show you my process for making my Mystic Messenger Long Cat acrylic pins. I'm going to start with making the actual artwork and move all the way into setting up the file in Illustrator for working with the laser cutters. My process is individual to how I chose to make my acrylic pins, but hopefully you can watch this video and gain some insight to help you in making your own. Alright, so I'm working in Photoshop and I have open a blank 8.5 by 11 sheet document, and I'm bringing in a picture of Longcat screen capture from the game just as reference material for when I'm drawing. I'm going to position it over to the side so that I have room to work, and I'm going to make a new layer so that I can start sketching. I've gone ahead and sped up this process so that you can see overall what my artwork looks like, working from a sketch, going into planning for the specific design and getting the right curvature of Longcat's body, and then into the line work, and finally into the color. So I've made several different designs for the length of Longcat's body, and I did that because I wasn't really sure what I wanted. I even thought about doing several different versions and having all of those for sale, but eventually I settled on a single design. Okay, so now I'm working on the line work. I'm using the same brush that I use for the sketch. It's usually the brush that I use for just about everything. It's a custom-made brush that I did. Okay, so now I'm starting on the line work for Longcat. I'm using the same brush that I used for the sketch, and I'm just going over and finalizing the design. Alright, now that I've finished the line work, I'm moving on to the color, starting with using just flats to fill in the base. And then I'll go in with the same hard brush and a soft brush to make the gradients and shadows and highlights for Longcat. Really make him pop. Okay, so now that I'm finished with the artwork, I'm going in and redesigning Longcat to fit different sizes. At this point, I wasn't really sure what I wanted for my final design. I didn't know if I wanted Longcat to be super long or just kind of long. So I'm going in and doing some mock-ups, so to say, to figure out what I want my final design to look like. So now I've gone and isolated that specific Longcat, and I'm taking him and I'm going to place him all around the page. Using Photoshop's rulers, the grid lines, and the guidelines, I'm making sure to get the correct size for what I want my Longcat pins to be. So now that I have the right size, I'm going to duplicate this layer and fit as many as I can on one page. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and save that and then move into Illustrator so that I can start working on the cut lines for the laser cutter. Once in Illustrator, I'm opening up a new document, same size as the last one, 8.5 by 11, making sure that I'm working in red, green, blue, not CMYK. Now I'm going to import my photo of Longcat. It has to be a PSD file for the file to work properly in Illustrator. I'm going to place my Longcat picture here on the artboard, and I'm going to go and change the opacity and lower it down to say about 20 so that I can work on top of it. I'm going to lower the opacity of this layer so that it's say around 20, that way I can work on it without it being distracting, and then I'm going to lock the layer so that I don't accidentally select it. Now I'm going to go in and actually make lines for the laser cutter to read. My software specifically for the laser cutter that I'll be using requires that the lines be 0.001 with a stroke that is red. The specific color of the stroke has to be exactly 255 red with 0 green and 0 blue. If the lines are not that specific shade of red, they will not be read by the software. So now I'm going to go through with the pen tool and make my lines around Longcat. I'm leaving a white buffer between where my lines are and where my artwork ends. That way I have a nice buffer in case anything is not aligned, and it gives it a nice white stroke. So now I'm going to select my entire cut line so that I can duplicate it. Using Ctrl+C, I've duplicated the cut lines and I'm placing it on top of where my first one is. Now holding Shift, I can move it over and make sure that it stays aligned with the one before it. I'll continue duplicating this cut line until I've covered the entire first row of Longcats. Knowing that the first row and the second row are identical, I can just duplicate all of them at once and move them down to the second row. Lastly, I'm going to make another specific cut line for my experimental mini Longcat. Once I'm done with this step, I can go ahead and save this as an Illustrator file since it's ready for use in the laser cutter. I also recommend deleting the background layer that has the actual artwork on it, as it could interfere with the software for the laser cutter. Alright, and that's everything for setting up the files. From this point on, all I would have to do is print out the artwork sheet and attach it to some acrylic and put that into the laser cutter and run this Illustrator file with the software for the laser cutter. It's easier said than done, but at the end of the day, it's a process that I love and I want to continue to do. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to subscribe.